Why do societies change? How do they change? In my research, I examined these key questions by using social evolutionary theory to understand social change. So what is social evolution? Social evolution operates on the same three principles as Darwinian evolution. There's the principle of variety, that variations are generated through a mutation and recombination process, the principle of inheritance, that these varieties can be carried through time, and the principle of selection, that environmental differences will mean that certain varieties are going to be more successful or adaptive than others. This, though, is not a story of progress, but a story of contingency. Gills, for example, are wonderful adaptations to an ocean environment, but they'd be sort of useless to you in a desert. The same is true with societies. In a competition for resources, certain institutions are going to be better adapted to local environmental conditions than others, leading to branching pathways. How do these concepts apply to social change? In my research, I compared the rise of nationalism in Britain and Japan. They share some surface similarities. They're both islands, as you can see, but they have environmental differences that led to their different pathways of development. Britain had Protestantism, which gave the different kingdoms within it a shared ideological ground. And also, being only 30 kilometers away from Europe, it couldn't avoid conflicts on the mainland. War helped to produce a sense of an in-group and an out-group, an us and a them, and so generate a sense of being one nation. Japan, by contrast, was 200 kilometers away from the mainland, so it could isolate itself. Its division between the military government and the emperor, plus the greater strength in the regions, meant that there was no need or possibility for a variety of nationalism to be created, and it would not have had an adaptive use. It was only with the intrusion of the West that the new variety was created and spread quickly to enable Japan to catch up with the West. This happens through the intended and unintended consequences of the choices that people make. The samurai, for example, didn't mean to disenfranchise themselves when they launched their revolution that overthrew the military government, but that's what ended up happening. Within a few years of the Meiji government, the samurai class was gone, as the new nation-state structure had no need for a specialized warrior class. Such an overt separation would have undermined the ideological belief that the people were all equal and deserving on meritocratic criteria. What is the importance of using social evolutionary theory to understand social change? It's not because it can predict where our societies are going, but because by understanding the contingent factors that produced our societies, as well as knowing how and why good and bad ideas and structures spread, we can learn how to choose to make our societies better. Thank you.